With this patch not featuring any major competitions, many pros are using this time to take a little bit of a breather or prepare in peace. However, there are always going to be those few who keep us entertained, and as one, we are going to be making our way over to Vietnam with YBY1 today. We have been dropped already this Vanguard package with Mordekaiser and Zoe, and our gods for the game are Aurelian, Soul, and Soraka. We field already the Arbiter immediately to check, see the possibility. We are generally looking for the possibility to either print Leonis or any form of scaling attack speed or AP for that LeBlanc angle, which obviously you are still looking to transition into some form of a fast 9 if you can, as LeBlanc simply does not cap that hard. Even the 5 Shepherd cap that evolved during the last TBC got hit in the nerfs, something that I am a little bit on the verge of why it had to happen. Otherwise, our spot at the moment is looking like we might be making that Spear of Shojin if we wanted to go for a slam. Completely fine on the Zoe, especially if we happen to hit the 50 mana spent. I would not spend my time here looking at the options we were offered, as they're in Vietnamese and it will be hard for me to infer right away. We are starting out also with the Bastion pair that we could be considering, and holding onto that Pike, one of the prime ways how you can transition into that Master Yi line, or just play him as a reroll as well if you are forced to. For our augment selection right here, Blood Offering, an augment that I have not really seen anyone click this set. You would have to be tempoing from this augment, as items onto one are generally considered for tempo, but there are not that many great users of the Bloodthirster really in this set. The Timebreaker augment, this is also a for fun augment. You will have to be rerolling your Ezreal, Cho'Gath, and Pantheon, but the scaling goes onto the Ezreal and Pantheon, and it's quite heavily invested. Something like a makeshift armor is great if you are looking for possibility to be tempoing in the early stages of the game. You have some upgraded frontliner, but for example do not have a slam and you are getting full backline item drops. This is where it's going to be amazing. Have seen a game from YBY1 himself here where he clicks this for as a tempo option and is able to succeed by having quite durable of a frontline. Also great in something like a Darkstar where you do not have items obviously in your black holes. You have more frontline bodies in those cases. Do get offered the Spark augment here. We have a possibility for quite strong of a frontline if we are able to hit this Leona too, but this is our only really out. And generally these AP comps tend to prefer Void Staff, so again, if you're able to play for tempo, fine. Otherwise, I am not too big of a fan. Savings account is something I would be more appealing in this slot. However, the thing is, there are only very few AP lines you could be playing right now. Only thing that comes to my mind in the current meta is something like the Mech ASOL version, which is completely fine for this augment, but you would be looking for more kind of a juice, something like an Anima that could further take this comp beyond. Or for example, the Expedition augment is great that they're able to Radiant. But it's probably going to be our best default option right now. Going to be offered Legion of Trees. Our direction is not set. We are not too hot on playing the AP line unless we can secure our way to Fast 9, and this could provide us with a clear direction, as well as a possibility of tempo if we do hit some upgrades. He's already checking up the options. Nice, that is sorted out for me. But generally, this fits greatly into Misfortune comp. If you get a Brawler emblem, you can obviously play that into Master Yi. It's going to be amazing. Rogue emblem into your Corki Ribbon is great. Bastion emblem also can be flexed in the Corki Ribbon or the Master Yi comp. Challenger goes in obviously into that Misfortune, and Sniper emblem can be played for something like a Space Groove. So there's quite some options, and just generally the Misfortune comp is the strongest one. He's going to be debating and hits the Primordial emblem from the Legion of Trees. Now that's an interesting choice. We are playing in a 2-1 encounters. This is an interesting observation here. He immediately opted to roll to see if we can find that last Primordial to start printing out. We were able to pick up a Cho'Gath too. And some might think that this emblem does not really provide you that much. He's already mapping out nonetheless the MF reroll comp. This is something also you can do, because the buff is obviously attack speed and HP, and this comp runs so many tricos that it's fine. But quickly, just to make a pause for you here and show you something. Many players consider this Primordial emblem to really not give you that much apart from getting the 3 breakpoints early on. However, little buddy bot always is here for us, and as you can see here, the mobs that you are spawning scale from the star level of your Primordial units. With that emblem, if you find another 3-star, assuming you have 3-starred all of them, you're going to be hitting that 12 breakpoint, which is going to summon another Bruiser for you, which you otherwise unlock only by having the 3 general baseline Primordials 3-starred. And yeah, you're actually going to be stronger. That's why this emblem is actually quite good in stats, if you wanted to go for that Primordial reroll. But the trick here is we're playing with Legion of Trees, and the comp generally does not run that many tricos. We're opting to heavily roll here already on the level This is a very classic YBY1 play right here. Opting to invest another reroll here on a level 3. Find that last Primordial, going to be pushing level here. And he seems to be pulling up a third local tournament. Maybe this is a Vietnamese tournament. Something I have not heard about, but we're picking up. It seems like there's definitely quite strong of a lobby. I can notice Maris's name right there. But unfortunately, we pulled the classic move of level and lose. So our spot is not that great, but we're still at least able to stack up the Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath, if you're able to pick him up at 3-star in these Primordial comps, is going to be stronger than your Rek'Sai 3. Rek'Sai paying that utility tax through her knockup, well, is just Cho'Gath. If you're carrying him around from the start, is going to be quite strong. Seeing against here the Silverman Dawn Rip. Generally, it's a quite flexible of an artifact to be playing around in this game, since while something like a Urgot is a great carrier of it, it's just a tank stat stick that is quite good, and early on you can try to tempo off from it. Now we have a possibility for picking up the Soraka's scaling thing. Is this tooltip still wrong? I believe it's supposed to be 100 HP that you gain for up to 5 interest. And up to 5 by interest. I'm not sure. They've changed this, they patched this, and they keep the tooltip here. It's quite weird. However, I generally like this one from getting the 50 gold, getting a component anvil. Always a little reduced tempo, but we are not in a tempo spot to be necessary for it. We are fine to econ up and get another component anvil. But if you're playing around this Cho'Gath, if our plan is to somehow play around this Cho'Gath, this thing could be quite good. Cho'Gath loves that extra HP, and this decision has to be made here. I'm not sure if it was deliberate or he was just gambling. He goes with the component. I believe that's the strongest choice. That it just makes more sense. Especially since it seems that our game plan here still is to be playing around this MF comp. We do not have a Maokai. Maokai also loves this thing because he loves raw HP. He has that passive right there. We have picked up 6 Cho'Gaths, sorry. Going to be tossing that Protector's Vow. Great item for all your tanks. Just getting that extra cast. And one of the ways you can kill tiers, as the meta is quite AD heavy. Might have preferred a Crown Guard in that regards, but if you are playing in MF, she obviously loves that Rage Blade, and it's going to be great. Making 20 here and keeping our loss streak. Unfortunately that we won that first fight. Definitely would have wanted to be angling the 5 loss from this kind of a spot, and we're not able to pick up minions, but we are printing these Cho'Gaths from the natural shops, opting to roll here on the level 4 route since we leveled, perhaps for a possibility to be chasing this Cho'Gath. Free rerolls, something you can do. Just whenever you're in this kind of spot, obviously make sure you're not ruining your loss streak in this. We see that there's an anima player able to dodge them, but unfortunately it's only going to be 1 gold interest, 1 gold streak going into that PvE round. Rage Blade slam with the Veigar tempo, perhaps considering possibility to somehow angle into Agnar, but most likely going to be LeBlanc. It seems like they have that Leona print right there. And we are stringing together a quite neat board carrying around this Lissandra and the Pantheon. If we're able to find some AP items, could be considering the Lissandra Cho'Gath reroll from this kind of a spot as well. Obviously our Rumble might be dead then, but again the Legion of Three's value is something I'm a little concerned about. Now we find a chain to kill off our Crown Guard. We're left with a Death Blade, something that is more leaning into your general line, so nicely making use of that itemization. Double 4 cost shop on level 5 right here, getting that Morgana in rather than another replicator. Are we believing this Cho'Gath to have enough damage, or are we just simply looking for the Cho'Gath to kill a couple of units and keep our loss streak? But this Morgana's durability is going to be quite strong, especially early stages of the game, and we're able to pick up another win right this way. I'm still interested to see how we're going to end up in this MF line, given that we have this Death Blade, we killed the Rage Blade component, so I'm a little worried here. And generally, if we wanted to be playing for this reroll, we might be considering the possibility for taking up here the advanced loan. I do not recall the exact odds. This is why you have a little buddy, but up to pull off what the gold path is, I believe it can be 50-50, so or 67-33 maybe. In that case, the advanced loan is a little bit better, obviously. Could give you a possibility to perhaps even tempo level to 7 and roll down. Indiscriminate killer, otherwise great augment as well in that kind of a line. Obviously your Master Yi's. Anywhere you can especially utilize even double double Giant Slayer is going to be great. But our MF doesn't have attack speed. Now, Portable Forge could help us also get there. MF can utilize quite a few artifacts. Dawn Core, Sniper's Focus are a couple of them come to my mind. There is that replication version of MF going around. Just quickly looking at other augment options that we were offered, he seems to be settled for the possibility of a forge. Obviously on 3-2 it's always going to be a little bit of a gamble in case you miss and your game plan is diverted, but we can utilize AP artifact. The comp MF can utilize both AD, AP, and tank artifacts, so it should be fine. The only downside is that we have the emblem, so we also are fine for tank artifact. Your uplink, cybernetic uplink is decent on the spam casting comps. Something like a Lulu maybe can utilize it. And the plot armor is nice in the brawler lines generally, since they have that raw HP. Getting effective HP through armor and magic resist is going to be good. So anything that doesn't run Bastion is going to utilize this the best. Going to be picking the portable forge in our options. We just ripped the Talisman of Ascension, and we have 7 Cho'Gaths here, so we might consider it. For the MF comp, I guess we would be forced to be taking Rapid Fire Cannon, not that bad, but we don't have an attack speed item. Hellfire Hatchet can see quite some use on Master Yi line, Sowing Wells with Death Defiance, also decent on Riven right there. Do not have any kind of a long unit stack right now, but he's going to be ripping the Talisman, and alright, we are Cho'Gathing it up. Going to be probably rolling deep here, since we're one copy away, picking up all the other brawlers along the way. I still have a 1 slot if we wanted to condition this Morgana. Have to roll deep, do not hit. This last copy always doesn't want to show up. We slam the Primordial Emblem on him to just keep the 3 Primordial and sort our itemization that way, rather than the Crown Guard. More raw HP, I suppose, maybe a little bit stronger that way. And the Steris Gauge, I would assume, just going to be transitioned onto the Urgoth. And then we can run another Marauder just for some alignment there. Finally find that Cho'Gath 3, so now we are off to the races. Are we going to go for the... We don't have any units to block this guy into, just get him going. I mean, we can delay him a little bit. Now, obviously, our game plan at this point has turned into protect the President, get the Cho'Gath up, get him some cast, make sure he doesn't draw aggro, can ascend, and hopefully pick up the fights for ourselves, and clearing off the units, keep scaling. This is now pretty much going to be our game plan, and let's see how we opt to go for any form of duo carries or any of this. Now, the Cho'Gath does have to put in a lot of work here, but he's getting there already. 10,000 damage delta, and the Swarmling's doing quite... Right, let's just touch upon this Primordial Emblem's read right here. I think I figured out exactly why he was doing it right there. Otherwise, Trade Soul quest right now, it would be hard for us to flex. We want to be tempoing, but this would probably mean we are inclined to be playing a weaker board. Blessing of Size, going to be great for Cho'Gath. Increase his size even further. With the scaling, that's going to be quite fun, and I believe that you just take it up and then just look for a possibility of maybe complete something with this sword. Going to be picking up a Pantheon, as it seems like we might be rerolling something more. We're quite poor to be pushing levels from this kind of a spot. To cap around something like a 6 Darkstar, we do not have the Ezreal, so I would assume we're playing another Marauder for a pairing right there, right? But okay, the reason for this Primordial Emblem, right? Primordians, also the Swarmlings spawn from the damage taken. Once this Cho'Gath ascends, he takes a lot of damage, he can take a lot of damage. Primordial Swarmlings are going to keep spawning, allowing us to get that little bit of extra chip damage. You can see the last fight. Let's check the damage log of this fight as we are fighting the Silverman Don Corki. This is one of the techs you can also go for. Blue buff, Silverman Door, Corki is actually quite strong as he's locking his cast, but you can see a couple of thousand damage. I believe it was 3,000 damage the fight before. They are going to be a secondary source of damages. There's literally nothing else on this board that's doing damage right now. I'll probably go for a chain. Obviously, Bramble Vest is a prime augment into this meta, as there's just many AD comps flying around. We find this player here going a birthday present into that Space Groove emblem. Now he's clearing up the Cho, and he's probably explaining to his chat that, yeah, the Protector's Vow. Well, Cho'Gath loves something like the Warmogs. Protector's Vow is amazing for him to get that cast, and obviously the shield scales off max HP. Therefore, Protector's Vow is amazing in that front. Something like a Steris Gauge wouldn't even be that bad. Just don't make Bloodthirster, even though he has some AP scaling. He doesn't need the Omnivam that much. And yeah, he also probably pointed out that 2 Marauder does give your team a little bit of an Omnivamp. That's going to make him a little bit durable. Now, I would assume we might be rolling for a Urgoth if it's not contested in this lobby. Like, we haven't held on to the Belvis yet. We reforged this into the Marauder emblem now. That allows us to just rip 6 Brawler right here on level 6 right away. Alright, and we're going to be tossing it on the Cho'Gath. I mean, it has a chance to print us some gold and takedowns, and if there's someone going to be taking these takedowns, most likely going to be Cho'Gath rather than YBY1. Clearing up the board. This obviously, the board simply do not have enough damage at this point for us to deal with this Cho'Gath. We are protecting him, and he's able to pop off, and that's why we managed to here secure ourselves a win streak. How do we win out from this spot? I have no idea. We tempoed greatly, and this is one of those spots where you probably expect to bleed out into the top 4. Bronze for life, we're playing heavily into these brawlers, we cannot take this. New recruit, free team slot, could be fine, but we were forced to slam a TG, therefore Golden Gamble, I see him as something like appealing. Maybe if we hit an insane Radiant also for this Cho'Gath, just to pop him off. The Radiant Rascal Gloves, I don't think we have a great holder for this, unless we flex into them. And then again, I mean, I assume that finding we do not exactly know the lobby status, as he hasn't been scouting as actively, but if someone's playing into Master Yi, then like, you do not have a holder for this. So new recruit is an option. More artifacts, more HP. This is a tough call between these two. I believe the both are quite fine. What artifacts? I mean, tank artifact, AD artifact are both fine. AP artifact would be a miss. Commerce core, obviously, we are not in that desperate need of a take. This reduces magic resist, if I am correct. Ages of the Dusk and Dawn, I don't think we want that. Rapid fire cannon, I don't think it's great on Urgot. Yasuo's blade works is, I'll frankly say it, I believe in my opinion it's quite ass at the moment. Still, despite the buffs, I have not seen a great user of it, even though there's a lot of players taking it for Bel'Veth. There's just simply better options. Even I would prefer rapid fire cannon, for example, on my Bel'Veth. Thus Defiance seems to be the best option. We have a lot of HP, we have a way for the sticking to be delayed. And it's something that the Urgot could use as well. And for now, maybe just toss it on, toss it on the Cho'Gath. Get this guy rolling. He can be quite stable, and I'll be finally fine at Bel'Veth as well. So we have a possibility for flexing somehow into the former orders. We have hold on to the Sakali, which obviously fits nicely in this comp, and this Maokai's heal from the Nova is also going to be massive, since again we have so much effective HP into another player who has first this Earth's line into Space Groove. I do not think that's the play you're going to be making. You can see he has lost a lot of tempo, but he's able to take down our Cho'Gath, okay. But they're quite poor. They had to make the item investment in the early stages of the game, and we're not successfully able to streak away from it. We're going to be staying here on level 6, chasing that Pantheon and Gragas 3 rather than that Urgot 3, which I thought was my read, but again, hitting Urgot 3, if there's the Yi player is going to be quite tough. We opted to more frontline our position, since we believe that our team is just simply not durable enough. We need this Cho'Gath to draw some aggro before he's going to be ascending, but we queue into the Bard, who has that damage jump against tanks. Nonetheless, Cho'Gath with his Death Defiance is just durable enough to get through it, gets to the backline, eats them all up, and clears up the board. He's definitely starting to grow quite big already. And for our last option, since we are rerolling quite far away, I like this possibility for reroll 15 times, pick up 2 component anvils. We have a lot to use to make that TG, so we can make definitely use of components for an open belt. So probably have to transition into a Warmogs. He's going to be going with that open belt though. I mean, we have a possibility still to be chasing items. What do we make from this? We have to go with a rod. What do we make from this? Bow is my question. If we are not chasing the Last Whisper, for example, that we had offered to ourselves. This is... Oh, so we made a... Alright, yeah, sort out anti-heal. The great read, just we need to sort it out. Made the Morellos. Yeah, that's going to be fine. Quite good. And another Bard here, but Bard 2. Birthday reunion cash out, it seems. Played into that fast 9, and the Bard is just going to be chewing us up. And once our Cho'Gath goes down, we are pretty much losing the fight. Do not have even the Urgot 2 to support him, and we moved our TG off just to have another tank. And this is also interesting. He's going for the split positioning that you see from these pie comps, that you see from Master Yi these days as well. Perhaps he's hoping in this way that he can isolate some of the front, but I doubt we're playing from a wrap, even though it might work this out this time. It's interesting for me why we might be going for this wrap. Kind of split open position just to maybe focus fire one side a little bit better. That could be the read. Or to prevent any other form of a damage onto this Cho'Gath. We are quite experimenting with all these different possibilities. For ourselves right now, just going to say that this is sufficient. Rageblade, Kraken, Urgot. Alright, he can cosplay Kindred for me, that's completely fine. Just picking up the items, we wanted the extra gold in order to be able to hit our units, not going to be wasting it right there. Still have went on the mix streak throughout the stage 4, so have managed to preserve decent amount of lives. Hit that Pantheon 3, are we going to be considering transitioning items for a possibility? And our Soraka is even going to be providing, since we aligned with her, going to provide us with more HP. Perhaps that was the reason also for picking up the belt. Obviously Morelos was one thing, and maybe he didn't want Aurelian's Soul, even though if we were this healthy, we could have made it to another completed item, which would be a great value. Quintus Radiant Field Morgana, so and our Cho'Gath is again drawing aggro from this Asol, as the Asol splash obviously still is going to be get there. This is actually this is a 6 Dark Star, but just using this opportunity to shout out that Asol is now commonly played together with Morgana. You still run the mech unit right there, but if you're unable to get mech items, you're able to get some like a Crown Guard like that, then you can play into Morgana. I believe it's, I would have to double check, but this Crown Guard is definitely one of the best items for this Morgana. Going to be looking out for a game regarding that comp, as I was unable to find one, and it's quite a new development. We see there's that Master Yi player here with the Challenger's Path, and we queue into Orn 3 with that Radiant Bramble being forced on him right now, and this Nami is going to be able to start chipping at our Cho'Gath. Maokai is already coming down. Do we get to Ascension? And we did get to Ascension barely, but now we are in a 1v8. Just a little bit too much for this Cho'Gath to deal with. Seems that our board simply does not have enough stall. We're able to level for this Aatrox as a source of our Shred and Sunder, as we do not have that just yet. So we're going to be keeping him. Again, going with a different kind of position, just trying to get in by enough time for this Cho'Gath, as that is our game plan. Trying to position in any form of way possible. Definitely if we hit this Gragas 3, this is going to be another nice support, and we're on 6 copies of these Maokai, so our game plan is again just to put as many bodies as we can, and hopefully this Cho'Gath can live and keep going at it. Definitely, it seems like we're going to be able to pick up a win against this fight. Does not seem to have that much frontline presence. We were able to eliminate it and get kind of the trap off. Another item coming in, just picking up a Warmugs, another form of a frontline. Finally hit that Gragas 3, so now still interesting that he opted to keep carrying this Maokai 2 rather than the Pantheon 3. Now, we were out of removers, I suppose, before, because once we hit that Pantheon, I think we still had the possibility. I would have to double check. Might have missed on that, but nonetheless, we're going against another Fast 9 comp. We are on the opposite side, so I believe this Cho'Gath should get a chance to ascend. But now, again, everyone is pretty much dying off. We have the backliner still alive, and this Cho'Gath has managed to chew through the front line and eat up the Fast 9 board. He has started to grow extremely big. Every takedown feeds him even more HP as these fights drag on. He does get a lot of casts off, so he's going to be exponentially growing as the game goes on, simply due to being there more units to pick off, and since there's nothing really else killing units on our board. Trying to dodge that Morgana. Do not want to get wrapped here with the Aesol beam to just die too early on. Should be an easy pickings here, I believe, against the quirky Silverman Dawn. The only downside could be that he could stun us down, maybe, perhaps? Let's see how we fare. The stuns are coming in, but simply does not have enough burst to get through this massive HP bar. Cho'Gath 34,000 damage blocked, 40,000 damage dealt. Absolutely no problem for ourselves, and we are in a comfortable spot to be definitely picking up a top 3 already from this game. Just simply enabled due to this. We changed our game plan by just simply naturaling Cho'Gath copies, and what sealed it in for ourselves was this this our Talisman of Ascension. Definitely were able to roll deep and realize that this is going to be the tempo spike we need. That's going to get us there, and we suppose just not chasing more carries. We have the possibility to simply just play around this Cho'Gath. I know Aechback absolutely loves this unit. Might be obviously a little bit of a meme, but they are not willing to click this thing even in a tournament when you go for Ezreal Cho'Gath reroll, so they truly do believe him. Now we are on the opposite side of this Aesol. This Cho'Gath should get a chance to ascend. Everything else has gone down. The Aesol does not have that much burst damage into him since he's running the Darkstar's path just for raw stats. There's no Giant Slayers rolling around, so that's absolutely amazing for ourselves. Still keeping rolling here on level 7, just hoping for the possibility to find the Urgot. One Maokai away as well. Going to rip that dupe. Now we have immense frontline and we are in a 1v1. 17,000 HP Cho'Gath. Let's see how we fare against these fast 9 boards, double fast 9 board. Blitz is going to be in the middle, thankfully not on our Maokai that will be enabling it. The Bard and Karma are working on their side. Now it's Cho'Gath against the world. 1v9. Can he pull this off? Blitz does ult him, but this is not enough. The Death Defiance is keeping us alive. The ticks are coming in. We are going to be just barely eating him up and finishing off the fight. This is something you would not expect, but just look at how massive this unit absolutely is. If we were to stretch him, he would be taking off half the board. It was just meticulous. The only difference, I believe, that if they had started on this side, we were trying to vigilantly dodge this burst of incoming damage. Do not have the super tank and Cho'Gath, so he can start clearing off the weaker units. They're losing their value from their cast, from potential CC, and the Blitzcrank was not there to enable that through knocking off the Maokai. And we just probably witnessed the biggest Cho'Gath that we might be seeing this set all along. Clicked the augment to give us a direction, realized that, hey, natural shops are telling we can play this, so we're going to rip the forge, see the best option and just play into our natural shops, greatly spike one timer by rolling deep, not being afraid, realizing we need to get this Cho'Gath rolling, secure a win streak from there, then realizing we are not really in a spot with our items or anything to be playing for like a fast 9 carry or this Darkstar line, many ways contested, like we didn't have Tahm Kench for a long while either, since he's so contested of a unit in the game, so we opted to just sit here and roll on level 6 and level 7 for our units, get as many bodies in front of this Cho'Gath and reach 17,000 HP Cho'Gath. That, let's just check the damage on this final fight. Again, 1v9 here, despite the knockups, still able to just bite every unit in a single ultimate, and through receiving so much mana by being attacked, he's just able to clear off the board, and that was, I believe, 107,000 damage dealt. That's the biggest damage bar I've seen. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I wish to see you in the next one. Have a good one.